Greetings, fellow traders. Bubble here, and it's time for the Lunchtime Market Update for Wednesday, June the 10th, 2020. I hope everybody's having a great trading day today. Everything we're going to talk about, as always, is for educational purposes only and not investment advice, so please take a moment to review this disclaimer. Awesome. Good. All right, well, let's check and see where we are in the market today. So it is Fed day, so we're getting a little bit of chop there today. We're down 6 points on the SPX, but very divergent from the NASDAQ, which we'll take a look at in a little bit. Weekly chart still kind of chopping around. Potential pause week, right? We might see a, if the Fed doesn't move things too much, right? This could be a doji sandwich up on the weekly chart to get that gap filled on the weekly. Daily chart, a little bit red here today again, but still kind of hanging in there. Let's take a look at the SPY and see how the volume is looking today. SPY's really been kind of the weakest link here. Still low volume here going into today. Let's take a look at the price action. So we did see some interesting moves here on the short side today. Kind of really tricky stuff though with big upper shadows and lower shadows. So that gets it a little bit funky. Let's take a look at the S&P futures. These are the levels, right? These are a couple different zones that we provide to our members. So we did get a nice breakdown out of the zone today. Real fast move to this zone, a bounce back down to this zone with a hammer, and then worked its way back up. So we're at the 15-hour below right now on the S&P futures. The MES. Very similar right here. So you can see, it's hard to really tell what we're working on right now. We might be working on a bit of a bear flag here. Really, we just have to see what happens through the Fed today. So let's keep an eye on that. The Qs, though, have been just still very strong. The market itself has been very choppy, but a few good breakout names this morning that we did well at in the on the live stream here today. And the with the gap up, too, that helps it, too, as it's at all-time highs again. Let's take a look at the IWM. IWM a bit of a pullback, right? So we saw the banks pulling back. They're highly weighted on the IWM. So this morning we pointed out some of the bank shorts today. Citi was a good one for us that we pointed out. We'll take a look at that one in a little bit. So that's what we're seeing on the IWM. Apple super strong this morning as well. Members profited nicely from this one on really a gap and go today as it's still at all-time highs. But a nice move here this morning as we got through the pre-market levels, and then another push later with some runners, right, as we got through this little bit of pullback here, this bull flag pullback to the ADMA, and they gave a nice push there. So let's see if they're flagging it again into the Fed and what's in store with Apple for the rest of the day. Tesla, let's take a look at Tesla. So amazing move today. Right, big gap up on talking about making more electric rigs, right? And it's holding its ADMA today, just kind of working its way up here. Nice inside 15 up here off of the 15-warp high for a good push here on Tesla. And then Boeing was on our bearish radar this morning as the airlines were weak, and that gave a nice move down this morning. Then they reversed it up inside 15 up. Some members did well with that one too. Look at that, also a doji sandwich. Which worked its way up there too, on some positive news that they're planning on releasing, I think, the 737 in June or whatever the case is, the end of June. So we'll see how that goes there. It's pulling back a little bit off that. AMD was another great one this morning in the group too. I can't believe it gave a little bit more move, but it did. It pushed pretty nicely this morning. Members, looked at a call here for a 59 target and hit it to the tick. You got to love that. And then look at that. Tweezer tops right there and reversed off of it. So pretty cool stuff there with AMD. And of course, NVIDIA was good. We took a trade in this one in the group as well. I really like this nice push that we had here. Ended up being an inside 15 up, and there's an inside 5 that we could get in on as well. Delta Airlines, this is one that we pointed out in the live stream this morning. Inside 15 down for the 15-hour breakdown as the jets were weak this morning. And then Citi Financial, like we said earlier, just gave a nice move down too. On the lower term time frame, you can kind of see here on the 5. It gave a nice inside 5 here to get for a nice breakdown on Citigroup. So good stuff there, and it's right to the ADMA on that one. So a few requests out there. So we've got Beyond. So Beyond Meat had a nice spike this morning. Tried to take the inside day up. It had a good move up here this morning, and now it's just kind of triangulating here back in the 15-hour range. So keep an eye on that one. Nikola, obviously beaten down a little bit by the Tesla news, but it's still hanging in there, right? So it's not really flushing too much in there. It's triangulating there, and it's 15-hour range on that one. Roku. Pretty good. It gave a little bit of a pop here this morning from the lows. It's it's struggling, right? It tried to get out of the trend box, but couldn't quite do it today. But it's working on it, right? So it rejected the cloud, but let's see how that goes going in the rest of the day. JP Morgan, another interesting one there too. That pulled back to the cloud here today. Still generally kind of weak here on the banks. CNP. Okay, this is interesting right here. Nice little buy the dip on that one. Still a bit of a it looks like a doji. A Dragonfly Doji on that one, but a nice reversal here. Some good volume off of this one. I think it got a little hype on CNBC today. Etsy. Okay, so I got an upgrade this morning, but really didn't move much after that. So this has been a really tough one to trade recently. Microsoft. Really great move right now. This is a good one here. Double inside 15 for a nice pullback here to the 15 orb high. right? And then it worked its way up nicely off of that. It basically held the ADMA the entire time, and it's really getting a nice pop on that. As this one is, I believe, at all-time highs right now. So pretty incredible move here on Microsoft. And then MARK. Okay, so I think they got to deal with a Florida Police Department. It's kind of like old news on it, but it did get a little pop there with some big volume, and now it's just kind of chopping around. So see if it eventually gets some more action going forward. But really, basically, it's looking like it's kind of forming like a potential bull flag on this one. It's been a pretty wild one here over the last couple weeks. So good stuff, guys. Well, I really appreciate everybody. Hope everybody has a great rest of your trading day, and keep an eye out for the Fed at 2 o'clock and 2:30. And stay healthy out there. Remember your risk first, and stay safe. See you in the game. And I'll talk to you guys soon.